don't know whose thing that is. It was like making a lot of noise. That was you, Mercy? Oh, I can't. Oh, you mute yourself. Is that what you did?
I think it was me. I think it was something.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, is she trying to make us jam out this early morning? Well, it's morning in my time. It's still 6:55. Mercy trying to get us to dance. You go, girl.
You so good to see you. So good.
It's good to see you here. So now I gotta go. Oh, there she is. She's up. Hey, girl. All right. Yeah, I could see all of you guys very clear. Um, no one's in here yet, so we have time. Um, I'm sure Janet texts you the questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys are comfortable taking it on, or did you need me to hang out? Because if not, I'll be in and out.
We think we might want you to moderate it.
Latifa said your ass cannot leave. She didn't say it, but I'm gonna say it. She's like, Anna, your ass cannot leave. You have to stay here with us. All right, I'll be here, but I'll mute myself and I'll take myself off camera as well. The only time I'll come on camera is if a question is whatever. So this way it doesn't take away from you guys in your session. But I'll be here in the background, and if there's anything that comes up, you'll see me typing it in the chat. So let me type one now so everyone knows. Yeah. So I'll type it in the chat if something comes up. But if I'm not hearing a question being asked, because I'm going to follow through as you're asking the questions as well. So if I don't see something being asked or something not being explained, that's when you'll see me pop up. Just know that when I pop up, it isn't to stop you. So I don't want you to stop your flow of conversation. I'm going to wait until you finish and then ask you to elaborate. Okay, Latifa, you have two screens open.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix that.
Yeah, because I was wondering why I was hearing the echo. Whenever you have two screens open, you always hear the echo. And I hear it backstage too when people are getting ready to go on the stage and they don't necessarily hear it. And I'm like, look, I can hear your echoing. That means that there's two of those screens open. That's the only thing about this platform is like when it does that, you definitely know something, is going on in the background. So what do you guys think of the session so far? Have you had a chance to, see any of it?
Yeah, I saw the remote working session and I think it was lovely. I really enjoyed it. I loved how Angela broke it down. Yeah, I really had a great time with that session.
Yeah. Same here. What about you guys,
And
Marian?
Oh, sorry. I've attended, I think, around 3 sessions, and I've liked them so far. I also liked networking because it was taking you to talk to someone. I liked the whole setup of the networking session. Yeah. Hope it could be longer though, because it was pretty short. By the time you get to know someone, get to know what they're doing, they were gone.
It's so funny with the networking session. We could actually, based on the platform, we can actually adjust the time. But the reason why we did this is, at this time, around this time every year is when we're usually in Kenya. So we would actually be having our live events because every year Kenya is either June or July, whereas other countries will move them around quite a bit. But Kenya, we don't, because Kenya is like home for AWIT, right? So exactly, it is. It is. I have no qualms about that. I always put that out there that Kenya is home for AWIT and everyone else is, we love y'all, but I'm Nigerian. I beg. We come second to Kenya when it comes to AWIT because this is where we started. Right. Well, my good friends helped me start it, and they're based in Kenya, and I can never forget that. It was their hospitality that had AWIT going and has kept it going through the many years. So I will always big up Kenya and be like, that's home, y'all. Y'all can't talk about my country now. So we wanted to launch this one as if we were in Kenya, actually. And that's why we did the networking the way that we did, but we will do like a once a quarter event and then allow more time for people to network. So this way it's not just a 3-minute speed networking, because in Kenya we actually built out to where we had 4 days of like back-to-back different type of events. So this would be the annual event that we would have over many days. And now we shorten it just to 2 days, back to the way we started originally. But in next quarter we'll have a session, but it'll probably be like a half a day session, and then giving people 5 minutes to actually network and changing the time of the networking so that more people can talk for a little bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah. So that's the reason. This way it forces everyone to just socialize and move around.
Okay.
So I'll be right back. Let me post that this session is about to happen in the next, actually, networking is going to be a while. I didn't even look at that. Okay, cool. So the networking, huh?
Oh, no, sorry. I was just.
Okay. No, I'm here. That's why I was like, I'll be here if you guys need me to moderate, I'll go in between. Or if you're comfortable, flowing as a conversation based on the fact that everyone has, questions at any point, you could jump in. So what you could do though, it's 7 o'clock. If you want to join the networking, you leave this screen open up another screen and then go into the networking. So long as you don't have another screen that's broadcasting, it won't echo. So networking is from 7 until 7:20. So if you want to go into networking, you can go into networking from now until 7:15, but come back here and just turn off your You can turn off your camera, but don't leave here. Open up another browser window and go into networking and do networking for 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So I will meet you guys all back here at 7:15.
All right.
All right.
So guys, what do you think? Do you want her to do the moderation, or do you think it's something that we could just discuss between ourselves?
Muted, I guess.
Oh, she can't. Yeah, she's muted. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
I was saying,
so I was asking for her to moderate, right?
Yeah, I think it'll be but if she can't make it as well, we can win it. We can win it.
Yeah, we can. Just a little about me. I'm very technical, so I think everything on me will be a little bit tricky, but I think it should be fine.
Okay. Would you Marion?
In analytics, so systems analytics, software analytics, data analytics, I'm even doing my data science courses now. So
okay, that's great.
Yeah, yeah.
So what kind of problems do you solve for businesses?
Sorry?
What kind of solutions do you provide?
So I'm in management consulting. I head the systems and analytics team. So I do all their data, take part in the M&E teams, and do forecasting and predictive analytics based on the data that I have in the company. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Based in Kenya?
Yeah, based in Kenya.
Okay. What about you, Latifa?
Oh, I'm a growth associate and social media strategist. So I just leverage digital marketing channels to help my company increase sales. And I'm from Nigeria.
You have your own?
What?
You have your own company?
No, I work with a company. So that's what I do for them.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So how do you introduce yourself? Social media manager? How?
No, I introduce myself as a growth associate.
What?
Growth associates.
Growth associate.
Growth associate, yeah.
Yeah, I also doubled and I ended up with marketing consultant. Well, you want to reduce yourself to a digital marketer because that means it's only Facebook and website and all. and
And
then this
digital.
branding aspect that is also there. So I decided to position myself as a marketing consultant.
Both online and offline.
Yes, because
Okay.
online and offline.
All right, that's great. But
Yeah.
I prefer the digital to the offline.
I'm the opposite. I think
I'm going to
like,
disappear for just a minute, or kind of, because I think my internet is not very stable. So I want to change my internet.
Okay.
Or am I clear? Am I clear to you, Marcy and Latifa?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you see me also?
No, we can't see you.
Yeah, let me change.
So I was telling you, Latifa, how I use online. I used to before Corona. I used online to drive people offline. And
Okay.
then,
I'm gonna leave and let you connect with somebody else. Okay. It won't let me. Yeah, I jumped in to say, let me see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. We're just talking.
Oh, you're welcome. We plan on actually doing something every quarter, and trying to pull in all the women from different countries. Because this year, our goal was to travel to at least like 10 different countries. Yeah. Yeah, it was Nigeria, and then 2 weeks later with Ghana. Then we would have taken like a month break. Then it would have been Kenya, Mozambique, and then Rwanda, taking a month break, and then the other countries. Yeah. So
Nigeria.
oh, God said, we go sit your ass down. Saying it. So I was like, all right. But this helps us to really connect though. Yeah, and that's the amazing part. So when we do the other ones once a quarter, we're going to choose 3 countries and then just focus in on what's happening in those countries. Yeah. So that's the good thing. We get to check out everybody from our little screen. Your presentation was really good, by the way. It cleared, and I was like, okay. So, I wonder if she wants to do a session on using AWIT on Twitter.
Guys, I have a question.
Yeah.
Marion and Latifa, what are you hoping to get out of this panel session?
I think for me, it's more of sharing the analytics part of it, because data is so much rich and how people are using it. I think the awareness that people don't have is that right now data is being controlled with the Data Privacy Acts and laws across the world. So I just can't start taking data and contacting you, Marcy, because I found you had said something and I added you into my segmentation. It's all about ethical usage of data as much as you're employing the social listening strategies and using analytics for it. Yeah, it's also regulating how you use it. So that's something I'm passionate about.
Okay. Latifa, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you. There's a constant echo.
Maybe that's me.
Latifa? No, we still can't. Have you muted? Just check. Okay, weird. I can't hear both of you. Marcy, you're also muted. Do you have two devices, Marcy?
No, just one.
Okay, so I'm back. Yeah, I hear that echo in your background, Mercy, when you're talking. So I might.
What about you, Mercy? What do you want to achieve as we wait for Latifa? Nope, we can't hear you.
Annie was saying something.
I was saying that I'm back.
I can't hear anyone.
Oh, you can't hear at all?
Can you hear Mercy?
I can hear.
Mercy and I.
You can hear Latifa?
No, I can't hear Latifa.
Oh, I also can't hear Latifa.
But you can hear me and you can hear Annie.
I can't hear Annie. I can't hear Annie.
Oh.
Wait, let me see. Oh, it says, let me just reload my page because I can see the stream was unable to connect. That was on Annie's.
Latifa? No.
Mercy, you don't have to do this. I'm just gonna tell them. Reload their page, because you and I can hear each other. It's them, so this way by the time they get back. So, and I'll step out for just one more minute, just to let everyone know happening now. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Latifa, can you talk some more? I was wondering if there was an echo. I heard an echo, but I don't hear the echo anymore. So it seems fine.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right. So I don't hear anything anymore. All right. So we have some people slowly streaming in. I will be right back once again. I'm just going to put out another message to everyone that in 1 minute we start this session. So I will moderate the session, but just know that I will be, I'll turn off my screen and my mic. So don't let that trigger you in any way when I'm coming in and out, okay?
All right.
All right. So there are 2 other people besides us in this room. So don't say anything crazy because it will be held against you. Be right back.
So as I was saying, I believe beyond data regulation, it's also a way of leveraging data analytics and social listening strategies to better understand your audience. So did you hear me,
Yeah.
Marian?
Now I'm hearing everyone.
Okay.
So just to ask a question, and I know we'll talk about this later, is Latifa, so what tools do you use for social listening?
Oh, my main tool is Hootsuite. It tracks all conversations, keyword, terms, everything. I use Otiot.
What about you, Mercy?
There's a tool called Keyhole.
Okay.
That, and I use a lot of Google Analytics.
Yeah, Google Analytics. Okay. For me, because I'm dealing mostly with website, good Google Analytics.
Google Analytics, yeah.
Okay. So everyone is slowly coming over because the networking session is closing. So what happens is it has to give them enough time to close out their last conversations, and then it automatically shuts down because we are now officially in a session. So how's everyone doing this evening?
Very well. I'm doing very well. Excited to start this session and see what we will be able to be talking about and what we can tell the audience so that we pass the knowledge that we have the team.
Latifa, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well and I'm very optimistic about this. In fact, I'm glad to be part of this. And I'm looking forward to sharing everything I know with the audience.
And what about you, Mercy?
Great. Just happy to be in a room with like-minded people, and I'm sure I'll learn something, and I hope I'll be able to share something that is
Okay. So since I'm hearing echoes when we're not, yeah, I think it's you, Mercy. So, but yeah, it might just be your laptop, I can tell you, because I have two laptops. One of them makes noise. I don't care what I'm doing. It just echoes in the background. And then this one, I said, since I don't want that wahala, let me pull out the other laptop, because this one, I don't hear the echoes or anything else. And you guys aren't complaining, so it must be working. So it's all good. Anyway, I just see that Marion, I don't know if she got kicked out, but let's do introductions until she comes back. So Mercy, we'll start with you. Please introduce yourself to the audience. It's so funny because we muted you and now you're still on mute.
And we learn. Hello, everybody. This is Mercy Rock from Kenya, Nairobi. I am a marketing consultant. I work at a company called Village Creative Group, and we do a lot of branding and creating brand identities. I'm happy to be here with you to speak about social listening strategies and how they can help you grow your business or your brand. Looking forward to learn and share my journey with you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and you, Latifa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Latifa Adesoya. I'm a growth associate and social media strategist. I work for a company called ByPower. So what I do is leveraging different digital marketing channels to help to grow the business, to increase the sales. And I'm really glad to be doing this, to be sharing what I know with you. And I hope that you're also excited to pick a few things from what I'm about to share with you today.
Okay, and last but not least, Marion.
Thank you very much, Annie. So I'm Marion. I am a system and analytics manager for management consulting and financial advisory firm. So I basically lead analytics and anything to do with data in the firm. I'm a tech enthusiast. I love tech. 7 years experience right now and still counting. And I'm an engineer by profession, by the way. So I found myself in tech and I really love what I do each and every day. Looking forward to this session.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone, for that. So let's jump right in. In what ways does the analytics and social listening enrich the experience of connecting with your audience? And we can start with you, Latif.
Okay, starting with social listening. When you undergo social listening, you're basically tracking conversations that people have about your business, that people have about your brand. So when you begin to analyze all of these conversations, you're able to generate insight into your audience. So you can discover a lot of information about them. You could discover new sales, new leads, I beg your pardon, new prospects, people who might be interested in what your business has to offer. So it means that you can tailor content that appeals to them. You can also discover advocates for your business, people who have had a great experience from using your product. So it means that they are expressive about their experience about your product, so they can become advocates and in turn become influencers who can help you better connect with your audience. Also, when you track conversations, you can spot positive mentions about your business. You can spot negative mentions about your business. So I would advise that you respond to the negative mentions, because it's an opportunity for you to prove to customers that it's an opportunity for you to prove to customers that you're better than what they already think of you. So when you spot a negative mention, you should respond to it. You should own it. You should be willing to assist that customer through that difficult challenge. So it helps that customer to build a better perception of you as a brand. So by so doing, you are enriching the connection between you and your audience. The same thing applies for positive mentions. You also don't want to assume that because you're positive, you will not respond to that. So you also want to respond to positive mentions, because it helps to enhance the existing great relationship between you and your audience. And it's also a way to assure your customer of a continued great experience. And finally, when you track conversations, you can discover your audience's pain points, your problems, your challenges. So it means that you're able to create content while offering solutions to help them solve this problem. So when you do all of this, you're able to connect better with your audience. So it just starts with identifying your audience, knowing what they want, what their needs are, and being able to meet all of this.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
insightful.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted
Thank
to just
you.
add a little bit that you've said quite a lot. And I think also for me, what really stands out is data, because data is very important and any business needs to create value for its clients. So how it creates value is by understanding what the client really needs. And this will be done using the social listening, as Latifa said. Another thing is also the analytics, because you'll get data which will help you segment your audience and understand what audience you're working with, who are your clients, and what do they really want. Yeah. And this makes it so important, and that's you're able to offer exactly what is needed. Yeah, exactly.
Mercy.
What has already been said, but I think also another way that analytics enriches the experience is it helps you know what you're selling. Sometimes what you're selling and what the clients are buying are very different things. When you listen, you're able to know that this is what I'm selling, and you can better communicate it. But when you don't listen, you have no idea. You're thinking you're selling this. In Kenya, we have a product called Arimis. It's a milking jelly for cows. But funny enough, most ladies use it for their lips, for their skin. It's really good for their skin. So those people are creating products for cows, but the people are buying it for the skin. So if you don't listen, if you're not keen enough, you will forever think you're selling cow products and you will package them as such. But once you listen, then you see an opportunity. Oh, there's this customer segment that looks to us for this. I think that's the most important. And I also think it helps you to brand yourself, or to create an identity again. You need insights from your audience to be able to relate with them. So I think this through social listening, you're able to understand again, like what Latifa said, the pain points, and then you're able to craft your message such that you're providing a solution. I think I'll leave it at that. But I think also consistency. Again, also consistency.
Yeah.
Once you know what it is you're selling and what the solution is you're offering, you're able to become consistent, and that is a must-have for communication. If you're consistent, you lose something. But once you know what you're selling and what your message is, it becomes very easy to connect and even sell.
I would like to elaborate on what Messenger said about analytics. And because analytics helps you to make informed decisions, so it means that all of your efforts are being tracked. You want to make sure that whatever effort you're putting in to connect with your audience, you're tracking all of them. So by the time you're able to track all of this data, then it can tell you what's working, what's not working. So if you know what's working, it means that you can improve on what you're already doing to better connect with your audience.
Okay, so which is good. So now let's talk about the tools, which is a question that Faith has. What tools are you using to listen? Because a lot of the time, entrepreneurs, they're probably the ones doing the social media themselves,
Yeah.
unlike companies who are the ones that are doing, a broader. And, I have many tools for us to tap in to see what our audience wants. That's how we usually create our events based on what we're seeing, what people are doing. So what tools do you recommend that people use for listening? And, what exactly do you gain from it? What do you use it for after you're paying attention to it? We can start with you, Marion.
I actually wanted to defer this to Latifah first or Mercy because I work in an organization and we're all about using Google Analytics, and we're talking about web. So we are able to see our views, we're able to see how people are interacting, what is being downloaded, what people want and what people don't want. So that's more of enterprise type of systems. We also have something like NetBase, which uses the power of artificial intelligence. So when we're looking for other tools, I think I will defer to Latifah and Mercy to answer to be more comprehensive.
All right, then I will take it from there. So the tools I use, I think it depends on how or the channel or how you want to connect with your audience. So if you're connecting with your audience on social media, you want to listen to them, then you think about using tools like Hootsuite, Sprout Social, so you can easily just input in the keyword you want to track, the terms that's related to your business that you want to track, so you can track all of those conversations. And if it's your website, or you want to use tools to track conversations on your website or how your audience are interacting with your website, then you want to pay attention to your Google Analytics.
I think a really free and easy to use tool are actually hashtags. I think having tools like, I've seen brands doing something like Ask Anything Friday. And every Friday they post that hashtag and the customers are able to jump on that hashtag and ask anything that they want from the brand. And from the brand is able to use these questions to understand what information the audience needs. So I think hashtags are a pretty cool tool. They also help you archive information. And they're not expensive. You don't have to send it anywhere. You just have to be deliberate about what is your goal and what do you want to come out of this. So is it customer care? Is it research? Is it you want to boost sales? So I think hashtags are a very important social listening tool. Of course, I also use Google Analytics because again, your website is your home. Your website is where you own. Social media, it's like your website is your own store that you built, and social media is like you're renting a store in a mall. So the goal will always be to transfer people from the mall to your shop where you have all the control that you could ever want. So in that case, Google Analytics becomes very important to understand how people are moving, and even what kind of content they're consuming. That's what I would say. Back to you, Annie. Oh, Marion, please.
Yeah, so I would like to mention some other tools. So when you're looking at tech, one of the things is to be able to create APIs that can listen to the different social media tools that you have. So if you can use APIs for Twitter and then tag what you want to understand, you can get all the info about a brand. For example, I wanted to learn about Marion as a person. So it will be able to crawl into Twitter and Facebook and return to me anything that is said about Marion. So that is how we gather the data on one side. But when we now want, that's more of the social listening that we are talking about. But now we have to transform that data for it to inform us. So that's why we do something called sentiment analysis, where you're breaking it down to now like show you were people happy, were people not happy, and segmenting them as Latifah had said earlier on. So they're different tools, and that's why I mentioned NetBase before, our view, and Google Analytics. So Google Analytics hides everything that is at the back, where people are getting the data from crawling the data from each and every social media platform, but it's able to show you exactly what is happening in terms of charts and graphs, and that gives you the insights that you really need. Over to you, Annie.
Okay, you said API, right? Because, we understand it, but there could be, other people that are like, I love tech, but I don't know the technicalities of the tech. So I need you to break that down, sis. Let's talk about APIs, right? Because I think it is such a helpful tool. Along with that, like after you ask that question, I want you guys to, I love case studies. I learn better when I hear about, give me a story where you saw something and you had to go in and do this and this, or give me case scenarios where you've actually had to, create a solution for, especially like with the ones where it was negative and you had to turn it around and this is what you did to gain confidence back. Or if it never went negative, then and you have to start from scratch, give me that case scenario. But that's the second question. But back to you, Marion. Because, sis, you done stepped up in here and said API, and then you use this and you pull this and you match this up, and then boom, you got skill. So
yeah. Thanks, Annie. Let me break it down for anyone who's not a tech expert in tech, actually, so that it's easier to understand. So what an API does, it's an interface that connects two systems together. Let's look at like a pipe, sort of. So there is Twitter here, and there is Marion here who has her own Facebook page. And so an API is the one that will get her Twitter tweets all the way to Facebook. And you wonder, sometimes you'll see someone tweet from Facebook, but it goes to Twitter, it goes to Instagram, and it goes to all these social sites. So that's what an API does. An API connects two systems. And I want to give an example of how I have used an API. So in the company, we had two systems which needed to connect because we had data from one system and we wanted to send alerts based on what is happening in one system, but there was no communication whatsoever. So what we did is build an internal tool using some languages that the tech people understand, and it connected the two systems. So once you click something on this other system, or whatever data is grabbed from that system, it notifies you and it sends an email for appreciation, tell you, thank you very much for voting for us, or thank you for telling us this. So it created that seamless communication. So the reason that APIs are there, and the good thing is you don't have to understand how it works because there are tools that already exist for us. Tools like I had mentioned Awario. So what Awario does is that it has those connections with social media APIs, which is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And what it does, it will give you a board that will show you what people are saying. It will show you if people are happy. It will have a record. It will grab all what people are talking about, and it will show you. So it will even do a sentiment analysis for you, tell you they're happy or they're not. So I can see Faith has asked me something. Hope it's fine if I just ask.
We should have had Faith moderating the session, because Faith is going right down my little list. Next time, Faith, I'm going to give you a job the next time, Faith. Go ahead.
So I'd love to expatiate on what Marion is saying.
I'm sorry, Latifa, before you continue, is that the correct spelling that Faith has?
I've just written the correct spelling. It's Awario.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Okay, so now that you've explained that, thank you, because a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that they could use the API to sync all the information. But that's what helps companies stay on brand and at the heartbeat of what people are experiencing. So now we're on to case scenarios. I like case scenarios only because then I get to see your skills, and I know we got skills in this room. So, we want to hear your skills. This is like an interview. Yes, Faith, I know you're very keen on this subject, and so am I. If I would have known, I would have had you here moderating instead of myself, I beg. So Latifa, case study. What have you experienced? Give us an example and let us know, like what you did to resolve that issue, or what you did to make it better, or just grow the brand.
Okay, if we're talking about how I was able to
using analytics,
discover my audience. Okay, using analytics, what I have done is take, for example, because analytics is based on decisions that you can make, which are based on data that you've been tracking. So let's use social media as an example. So take, for instance, you share a post on social media. and you want to pay attention to the engagement rate, you want to see the number of likes, you want to see the number of comments, but you also do not want to stop there. You also want to pay attention to the number of saves on that post. You want to pay attention to the number of shares on that post. So it means that if your audience were able to save a post, it means that they found it valuable enough for them to save it. If they share a post, it means that they enjoyed it enough to want to share it with the people in their cycle. So that tells you based on data, and it is easy on social media because all of these platforms offer you social media data analytics tool. So the Instagram Insights is an example of a social media data analytics tool. Facebook has its own. The same thing goes for Twitter. So as you are sharing content on social media, it's helping you track all of your social media efforts. It's helping you show the performance of your content, how your audience is able to resonate with your content. So based on all of this data, you want to continue to share content like that. So based on all of those engagement rates that you've paid attention to, based on all of those metrics, you want to continue to share content like that to continue to increase that relationship with your audience and better connect with them. So that's for data. The same thing happens on the web too. I think the same thing applies when you're using Google Analytics too. You want to have a lot of information on your web visitors. You want to know where they're coming from. You want to pay attention to your bounce rate. How high or low is it? You want to pay attention to the duration that's spent on a particular article on your page. You also want to pay attention to the number of social shares we have on a particular page. So if you see all of this going on, it signals to you that my audience enjoys this a lot. So it will make sense to continue to share content like that. And if you want to skyrocket it the more, you can even request for their email addresses. So that way you can keep them updated on newest articles on your website. You can keep them updated on updates about your business. You can also begin to share with them personalized emails. And that's because they followed you through from social media to your website to email markets. And so it makes it a lot more easier. So it's usually like a step-by-step process. You wouldn't want to jump into email marketing. Take, for instance, if a brand I barely interact with on social media sends me a personalized email, I'm going to wonder, how did we get here? So it starts from somewhere. And that's how you can connect better with your audience with data analytics.
Okay. And Mercy?
Okay. So there's a recent project we worked on, which was on creating a personal brand for a person who wants to, an entrepreneur who wants to position themselves as a thought leader. You know, with the current situation, before somebody even calls you or emails you, they probably Googled you. So having that in mind, he thought it would be best that the moment somebody Googles him, they find something that reflects him, who he is. And even better, you know, because the website can look way better. So by the time he's calling, somebody is calling him, they already think he's this really cool guy, and these are all his achievements and all that. So how we started is finding out first who is your target audience, who do you want to talk to? And of course, you wanted to talk to entrepreneurs. So now, what is the message that we're telling them? Of course, he wanted to tell them about using digital to thrive in this during this pandemic and this social distancing times and people working from home. Digital is the answer. So how did we handle it? In this case, the social listening was looking at other people who have positioned themselves as him, other thought leaders within the entrepreneurship space, and looking at their target, their followers, who's following them, who's consuming the same kind of content that we want to create for our clients. And who are they? And that, in that case, social listening helped us to create a persona, because the more we look at these followers, the more we realize, all of them are entrepreneurs, all of them like writing, like this kind of posts, they prefer videos, they prefer this and that. And in finding the kind of content that they consume, we were able to create content formats that are similar to that. Because if they like videos, it wouldn't make sense for us to create long form content. So in this case, we used our competitors and we listened to their target audience, which is similar to ours, to get insights that will help us create the right message in the right format and platforms. So this is a case of using social listening on competitors to create your own brand or to create a better brand.
Exactly.
I hope that was helpful.
Yes, it was. Marian, I'm going to just add a twist to yours. It's great that, we know that social media has a world viewpoint, right? But some companies are also local. The company that you work for, do you have access for it to be more than just beyond, Kenya? And when you create for your audience, are you creating for beyond just your local? And once you notice that from your analytics, which countries are you paying attention? Which countries are paying attention? Do you do more targeted towards that particular segment or no?
Okay, so that is most of the time handled by the communications team. But speaking from what I know and what happens is, in any business, Annie, that you're working on, is you have to have targeted targeted content for the team that you want to do. And all these you'll get through the analysis of data. So you will get to know, I'll use a company that was based out of India that I worked for once, and was doing advertisements, or was using someone who was not really a local, and it was not getting the same traction in other African countries. So an example would be trying to let Annie come here and be an influencer in the Kenyan market, yet she'd be a better influencer in the Nigerian market. So that is something that was seen by looking at the numbers that we were getting. Because by using the same content everywhere, we were getting numbers that were showing us, wait a minute, this is working in one part, but it's not working in this part. So you start segmenting that and only using content that really matters in the segment that it matters. So if it's the region is Kenya, then Kenya should have a different type of influencer as compared to Nigeria, as compared to Senegal, as compared to the US. So everything is really targeted, Annie, and it depends on what you're getting from the data that you're receiving after you've already tried out probably test one, prototype 2 before you go live.
Okay, so that's good to know. So basically in any content management, you always make sure that you target your demographic unless your demographic is trying to be beyond where you're reaching, but make sure whatever you're marketing actually suits that demographic. Let's talk about, outside of analytics, right, and social listening. What else is being used? What would you use to reach out to a particular audience for a brand that you're managing?
Quizzes. Quizzes have proven particularly helpful. In a recent campaign we ran to encourage Kenyans to take urgency against coronavirus. We are the cure. So we ran that campaign for a period of 2 months, and on the 3rd month we wanted to measure have people learned what you are sharing. So we put out quizzes, and if you got the quiz right, you got a free merchandise. So from that, we were able to see how many people are getting the answers right. Is it a big percentage? Is it a small percentage? Do we need to continue with this? Is there a particular area we need to focus on and create more content? I've seen also other brands are picking up on quizzes. They're very fun, and they're very engaging. So I think that's one way you can use to open up your audience, to let them talk, to let them tell you about themselves.
For me, I would say outside of social listening and data analytics, you can use social media because it is a two-way communication street. It encourages back and forth. So it encourages interaction between two people. So it means that whatever you'll be sharing on social media, can you hear me? Okay, it means that whatever you be sharing on social media has to be engaging for your audience, because at the end of the day, the only way we interact in the digital world is through content. So you want to implement engagement strategies in your entire content creation process. So you share a post, you want to ask them questions in the caption area, you want to leverage the Instagram story feature to engage your audience, see their opinions on things about your business. carry out polls, just basically to engage with them. So when you're able to create content that evoke their reaction, that would encourage them to interact with you, then outside of all of those other strategies, you're able to connect better with your audience.
So when I look at it, I'm totally not in the marketing space, but on the tech perspective is I'm thinking of things like practical observations, whereby you're able to see how people are interacting with your product. That is also like key. Another one is also, I love stories, listening to what people have to say about me as a brand or my product or my content, and having those conversations. For example, as Mercy had talked about Aramis. Sorry? Yeah, so Mercy had talked about Aramis, I'm sorry for that. And it's having that conversation as an Aramis brand to go to Mercy and have this story of what do you think about Aramis, and listening to what people have to tell me. That is when I'm doing one-on-one. So those are just other ways that are different from now using the technical tools, which are now analytics and social media and social listening strategies.
Okay, so we have about 10 minutes in the session, and I want you ladies to tell me, there's always like one thing that we all go to whenever we're doing type of strategies, right? And we know that this one thing generally works across the board. What is that one strategy that you use that always guarantees your success no matter which brand you're using it for?
Who's going first?
So Latifa, you can go first.
All right. Okay, so one key strategy that I have used and I've seen work to help me connect better with my audience is carrying out quizzes. So when I carry out quizzes, it just doesn't stop. It just doesn't end at providing the answers, or it just doesn't stop where they answer the questions. I go a notch higher where I look out for the top performers. So people who have performed excellently well, we give them a shout out on our stories. So it kind of encourages them to also look forward to the next quiz, and it's only natural that they would reshare on their stories too. So other people that also participated will also keep looking forward to that, so that they could be among the next top performance. So that interaction really helps to connect with your audience.
I'll go next. I think the one thing that always works for me is mapping out your target audience, being very clear about who you're speaking to. Even better if you can actually go on Facebook or Twitter and say, this is the person I'm talking to, because it means when I create the content, I have somebody in mind that I'm creating it for, and I know their needs and I know their problems. So mapping out everyone, the stakeholders, the competitors, my target, my clients, my partners, everyone that is in that space. And secondly, identifying the key message. There can only be one main message that you're passing on. And it's very important to identify that, who you're talking to and what you're telling them. As soon as you have those two, it's then easy to find where the people you're talking to are on, because you know them. So you can put your content on those platforms, and you're not wasting time. There's a particular person that you're creating content for them, and you know them, you know where they exist, and you know where they are. So it becomes more effective, increases your chances of being heard, increases your chances of conversion.
Yeah, so to just add on to what Mercy has said one thing about mapping and creating that strategy. But I want to say that every strategy that any of us has to make has to be influenced by data. And this data is the one that we are getting from all the different platforms. Getting to get this data from social media or whatever you have to get the data from, even if you have to go to the people themselves and collect it, because that data is the one that will inform your decisions on the type of the strategy that you're going to map out, by being able to map out even your clientele and the base in which you're going to be operating on. So one thing I need to mention here for everyone is that data has become very valuable right now, because everyone is willing to pay. We saw what happened with Cambridge Analytica and all the other tech firms. It's become very special because everyone wants data, because we know what we can do with data. We will map, we'll be able to create winning strategies, yeah? So what we do right now is we are using ethical data ways. You're being ethical as you make use of data, being sure that being understanding that we have data privacy laws. We have the GDPR that came into effect. So we have to be, as much as we are engaging in social media, we are collecting data from different places. We have to be very careful how we use it, and we have to also let people know what we're using their data for. So Latifa had mentioned somewhere where you're able to connect and even ask for their email addresses. Do they understand what you'll be doing with their email addresses? So these are certain things, these are all things that we have to encompass as we're thinking of a strategy, as we're thinking of how we're going to get the data, and as we're thinking of how we're going to communicate with the people. So my parting shot is, as much as we're using all this data, we need to use it ethically, and we need to use it in a way that it conforms to the laws that have been put up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Google Analytics before we close out. Because I'm a big proponent of Google Analytics. I use it on all the websites to track a lot of information. So for those, a lot of people don't necessarily pay attention to Google Analytics unless they're on a blog, they own a blog, or they have an active website and trying to get that information. Can you just talk about, can you all touch base on why you use Google Analytics and what do you use it for as we close out the session? Go ahead, Mercy. Yeah.
So I use Google Analytics for a lot of things, but mainly to create content calendars. Using Google Analytics, I'm able to know what pages people are landing on and how long they're spending, how much time they're spending on it. Using that, I'm able to know that the articles that are performing best, and I can create more of that to expand it. Yes, and with that, you're able to create a content calendar because you know this is what people like, and you can expand on that. So, short and sweet content calendar.
Very similar to what Mercy just stated. Yes, I use Google Analytics to track my web visitors. I want to have an information about them so I can know what to tailor to them, so I can know the kind of content to share with them, so I can know what they need at a particular time. I want to have information about their demographic so I can know that for this set of people, this is kind of message I'm going to pass to them. For this location of people, this is what suits them best. So basically, it helps me generate insight into better content that I can create for them. So it's just basically data, what's working, improving on what's working and what's not working, fixing that loop.
Okay. And Marian?
So with Google Analytics, there's so much you can get from it, but most of the time is you're trying to see if there's value. Like I like to see if there's any value that I'm creating. And even as I report and do my reports on how people are interacting, I want to see how many went and downloaded the reports that are there. And that number will influence some of the decisions that need to be made in business. So it's more about understanding how people are interacting with the site, what they want, and also where were they coming from and who are they. That is if you are collecting that information from them too.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, ladies. But I also, if there are certain tools we didn't mention, could you please go into the comments and just type them in, just so we can use it as a reference point. I know definitely for us, we track how we get so much attendance from African Women in Technology. Is like we track through various measures to see how our message reached and who it's reaching. Twitter is our biggest reach, so that, you know, in our newsletters that we send out and whatever. But anyway, but feel free to write down any tools that wasn't mentioned, because a lot of people are not familiar besides the basic analytics that like Instagram may show you, or Twitter or Facebook, you know. But if there's anything else that we missed, just like you told us about API, you had to write that down. But please type that in. Otherwise, thank you, ladies, for joining us today. It was a wonderful session. I definitely always learn, no matter where you stand, you always can learn. So thank you so much, and you all have a wonderful day. But for the rest of the audience, I will see you in the main stage. I'm going there to go live because our next session is on, you know, the ROI of design and marketing strategies. So I'll see you guys over in the next session. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.